And still to come on Bizwatch, the growing popularity of internships in China, what makes them work and who benefits? In this week's highlight, we'll look at internships as a tool to discover and nurture talent. And for corporate executives in China, if you want to know whether you're getting paid well enough, listen up. An HR analyst will give you the inside scoop. More than 5 million new graduates will join China's workforce in the summer of 2008. 12 months before they graduate, the intern recruitment drive is already heating up in campuses nationwide. This week, Cai Jue looks at the popularity of internship schemes, both for students seeking a way into their ideal career and for companies hoping to secure the cream of the intake to join their staff.
I have tried 2 intern jobs, 3 interns. 2 intern jobs.
2 internships.
3 positions.
4 different intern jobs.
A random group of final year students at a university campus. On average, they have tried 2 to 3 internships by the beginning of their 4th year at university. And every year, 30% more internships are reported to universities.
Heard from senior students that internships are crucial to get a decent job.
I just want to try more internships to see what kind of job I'm suitable for as a lifelong job.
Employment pressure is severe. A good degree is no longer enough, but more work experience is needed.
80% of major companies in China now offer student internships in the summer or winter holiday. Take the accounting industry as an example. All Big Four firms offer summer programs this July and August, and the selection process started in early April.
The program is quite helpful for the students who want to pursue a career in accounting. The accounting standards have been modified rapidly in recent years. Students who are familiar with the working environment before they enter the company for full-time job can catch up the accounting jobs more quickly.
600 penultimate year students take the 1-month-long program. After the 2 or 3 day orientation, students are provided with another 3 or 4 weeks office experience within the company.
Often companies will use interns to staff projects. So if, for example, you have something that's going to take 3 months and you know that you're going to need an increase in manpower, but you don't think that it's going to be a permanent need and it's the right level for an intern, it's a really great way to see whether an intern is a potential fit for your company long term.
Unlike entry-level staff positions, where training is generally received in classroom, for interns, companies prefer build skills as they go. Due to the limited time duration for internships, companies appoint a mentor to assign jobs to them and to review their performance on a daily basis. At the end of the internships, only 5 to 10% of students get to stay on to pursue a full-time job. For the rest, company will only offer them prior consideration during nationwide campus recruitment.
The feedback we received are very positive. Students have the full understanding of our corporate culture, and their interest of taking accountant as a lifelong career has been dramatically increased.
Experts point out that a good internship scheme is a powerful tool in promoting a company's brand to attract the best new recruits. Most former intern students will go on to apply for the entry-level jobs after graduation, in the meantime spreading the company's reputation around the campus. Cai Jue for Bizwatch.
When it comes to compensation packages, executives are much more difficult to manage than interns. While many Chinese companies have financially surpassed their foreign counterparts, average executive pay levels still lag behind. This week I talked to Kevin Lin, Incentive Consulting Solutions Leader, Mainland China at Watson Wyatt. He explained the rationale behind pay strategies in China. Does executive pay strategy impact a company's growth and sustainability?
That's a very good question. And we actually did a study for a major corporation listed in the United States to try to figure out the correlation between the executive pay and shareholder value increase. We call it the measurement is total shareholder return. And actually the finding is that for the past 5 years, for those companies who have high share ownership of the management team, actually have higher shareholder return in aggregate, and to the level of maybe 1.5 to 2 times of those companies who have low management share ownership. And there's a spectrum of leading indicators of shareholder value, such as return on equity and growth of sales.
And this was a general trend that you observed?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in China particularly, a lot of sectors are dominated by state-owned enterprises. So how is their executive pay strategy different from multinationals in China or the private companies in China?
The state-owned companies is different from the private companies, basically because of their shareholder nature was different. And sometimes from the perspective, they have a higher or more long-term mission in terms of protecting the assets of the company or the shareholder value represented by the country.
How is that exactly reflected in the executive pay level or compensation packages?
You see more of a requirement for pay for performance. Let me give you an example that if it's a private company program, many of the times retention is the number one focus. The requirement of the compensation rewards was based on the time that the executive stay on the job, but not necessarily the performance that the manager delivered brings with him. Well, if you see a Chinese state-owned enterprise program, especially recently, they will usually be a performance requirement attached to the service requirement. So not just the service that they have to deliver, but also the performance.
Why do you think private companies put more emphasis on retaining the employees?
There's more of a retention pressure, especially in the Chinese market, in terms of talent competition, where you need to attract the best talent out of the market. So attraction and retention puts a higher priority in terms of the performance alignment at this particular stage, where maybe for the state-owned enterprises, they have a talent pool. Part of it is actually homegrown, or because of the overall civil servant system, they provide a certain talent that are of a mission-based, less market or pay-oriented nature. So maybe there's more focus early on than the private sector on the performance alignment than there was retention.
As more SOEs undergo structural reform in China, how can they migrate to a new executive pay or compensation mechanism? What are the challenges there?
I think the challenges mostly lies to the involvement and the enlargement of the talent pool that a company needs to operate on a more global or more competitive scale when this SOE becomes more market competitive in the business they're in. So on that basis, they will need to invite or involve more talents into the company management team. And with more talents coming from different backgrounds, there will be different compensation levels, compensation packages, compensation experiences that they bring with them, and how to find the consistency to align the management team, that we're all on the same management team, and how is our compensation being treated consistently.
How do you compare senior executive pay level in China to the global average today?
Current compensation level executives, generally speaking, would be lower than the international market. If we have sectors like financial or some part of the IT that has more competition or involvement on a global scale, then we're some part of the manufacturing or distribution that are more competition on a local scale. The compensation level will grow at a different speed.
In what sector would you see the fastest growth in compensation in China, you think?
Generally speaking, probably the financial. You will see the fastest growth.
Because a lot of global competition involved, right?
And the talents that's required on a global basis.
What about some other factors, some outside factors, for example, cost of living?
That will not be a factor for executive compensation in particular. The reason being that if we talk about executive compensation, it will be for those really talented executives and those value-increasing enterprises who are in the game. And if you are really a talent and you're really increasing value, you're not worried about cost of living. You're really adding value in addition to this society standards.
It only depends on how much value you can bring to the company and the society.
And you always exceed the cost of living.
Kevin expects executive pay levels to continue to rise in China. He believes competition for talent will create a need for higher pay, and companies' efforts to increase profitability will produce the necessary funding.